Hello everyone. Bacik, the leader of Ireland's Labour Party, spoke at Labour's annual conference yesterday in Limerick. Now, I want to speak about a couple of specific parts of the speech she made, which was given to half an hour on RTE last night. Of course, we know that's the state's main propagandist, and half an hour primetime viewing for Bacik to spout off a lot of her nonsense. Now, she came out to much fanfare with the words of Dolores O'Riordan of the Cranberries' fantastic song Dreams, that led her out onto the stage as she was hugging everybody. Couldn't really get to the stage in time because she was so full of hugging everybody before she got to the stage. Of course, maybe the Labour Party are in complete dream world and divorced from reality, so maybe it was an apt choice of songs to choose for her entrance into the Radisson Blue. And then she went on a tirade really and spoke about equality, fairness and solidarity the Labour Party stand for. She said she stands against the politics of the far right. And also she said that Catherine Connolly's landslide victory has given Ireland hope. But she said an alternative Ireland is possible where the parties of the inverted commas so-called left unite, and they consign the relics of the past, Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, to the past as they look to march towards forming a government in the future. Interesting. She said it's a government of failure, and also said that she's looking for real change in Ireland. But then she went on to say that she is proud of all previous members and leaders of the Labour Party who decided to go into government with Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, and she said that they had stepped up to serve our country, and she stands proud of all of their achievements. Well, I bet she does. Remember the most recent Labour government that went into bed with Fine Gael and that implemented devastating austerity that saddled Ireland with over 42% of the total European banking debt and smashed public services that devastated so many lives and cost so many lives in Ireland. But that's the Labour Party we're talking about, isn't it? Totally anti-working class party. And she also spoke about that she is a proud European, of course, fully signed up member to the neoliberal project in the European Union. And she spoke about climate action to say that they're committed to building better together. Where did I hear that before? Building back better, wasn't it? That was the one, building back better. The World Economic Forum. So it's building better together. Of course, Bacik said she was looking to build 1 million homes by 2030. I think dreams is very apt with Ivana Bacik at the helm of this Labour Party. She went on to speak about housing, health, education, and went on to speak about the new Irish coming to Ireland, to say that it's an Ireland for all and the flag belongs to everyone. Well, it's the Irish flag, isn't it? But it belongs to Ireland, obviously, not everyone. But there you go, that's Ivana Bacik and her nonsense that she was speaking about yesterday. So much about inclusivity and equality, and of course they're willing lapdogs for Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael at every single opportunity. And as I said, she spoke about a border poll timeline. First time I heard Ivana Bacik talk about a border poll in her time in politics, but wonders will never cease to amaze. But the big issue here is this Labour Party is an anti-working class party who are a proudly conservative party in terms of propping up the status quo in Ireland. They would be able lapdogs for Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael given the opportunity. But now they're trying to claim that they're some form of Democrats when they're anything but the social democrats that they claim they are, because of course under the European Union they've signed up to the fiscal treaty and all these rules as well, which have ceded sovereignty to Brussels. But of course they would never talk about those issues because they're not a working class party. They're a party of the woke identity politics brigade that have no interest in working class issues. And of course she never said where all the money was coming from to pay for this. She never talked about redistribution of wealth, never talked about tackling the big corporations or the billionaires in society. That's not Ivana Bacik's role. Ivana Bacik's role is to try and claim some form of alternative to the status quo when she is a fully signed up member of the status quo in Ireland. And this goes back a long way with this Labour Party, which is a billion miles away from the party founded by James Connolly and James Larkin and William O'Brien in Clonmel, County Tipperary, back in 1912. Of course, they stood up for working class, well, essentially against the ruling classes, for working class people. And the Labour Party now are part of this trade union movement. We all know about the trade union movement, which was completely compromised. It was a million miles away from the trade union movement that Connolly and Larkin led. They were beaten off the streets by the Dublin Metropolitan Police for standing up for workers' rights, pay and conditions in the horrific events of 1913 Bloody Sunday. But of course, Bacik will not attest to any of these issues because Bacik is, as I said, part of the establishment. And that's the way the Labour Party has always been since the foundation of the Irish state. Back in 1918, they decided not to stand in the Irish elections, where perhaps they should have stood in terms of it could have changed the course of Irish history if they stood up on a principled basis for working class people. But of course they didn't. They stood down from those elections that led to Sinn Féin winning. They claimed there was independence, but of course there was more issues at stake than that, and it was far more nuanced than what a lot of people claim at the time. But really what was important with that was that it opened the door to Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, and the politics of the Civil War that Bacik is now claiming is the politics and relics of the past. And they just want to bring us back to those days of where the very top of society still called the shots at the expense of working class people. So that's who the Labour Party represent, fully signed up to the neoliberal agenda of the European Union. And of course they have many MEPs, one MEP in particular, Aidan Reardon, in particular is signed up to this climate existential threat that we all face, to say the thing of hopping in your car and deciding to drive somewhere is a thing of the past. These are the types of autocrats that are in this party, which is the same as this so-called fake left opposition that is more interested in identity politics and woke issues than facing up to real working class issues that face the working class people here across Ireland. But that's what's going on. This is the nonsense that's spilled from Bacik. And please share my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please, thanks so much to everybody who continues to support me through buying me a coffee as well. So from Dublin today, it's Long Fall. Bye bye.